Justin Trudeau proves he's both full of it and clueless while on tour. I'm Brian Lilly with Rebel.media. We all remember Barack Obama's book, The Audacity of Hope. Well, if Justin Trudeau was writing one about his tour, it would be called The Audacity of Audacity. This is a man who said he was going out to connect with regular, ordinary Canadians. For the most part, that wasn't happening. I mean, in Kingston, he was asked questions like, what do you do with your ties when you get stains on them? But then he went to Peterborough, Ontario. He met a woman, a disabled woman who wears a knee brace, has epilepsy, and a hydro bill that was $1,000 for 1 month. She wanted to know what could be done about it. She wasn't alone. Several people wanted Trudeau to do something about rising energy prices in Ontario. After all, he was touring Ontario, and Kathleen Wynne's his good friend and political ally. But at one point, Trudeau just said, he can't do anything about it because of provincial jurisdiction. Here's what reporter David Akin, who was on the scene, tweeted out. As a Quebec MP, I'm very sensitive to provincial jurisdiction, Justin Trudeau says of those who want him to take on Wynne. Really? Sensitive to provincial jurisdiction, which is why he is in the middle of trying to force provinces to accept a healthcare deal where the feds dictate what's in their healthcare, or why he's imposing a national carbon tax even on provinces that don't want it. But a little later on, Trudeau started talking about the oil sands and the oil industry. Here's where it gets really crazy. He's just said he can't do anything about energy prices in Ontario because he respects provincial jurisdiction. And then, as the Globe and Mail's Steve Chase reports, Trudeau, we can't shut down the oil sands tomorrow. We need to phase them out. We need to manage the transition off fossil fuels. Well, interesting point here. Digging oil out of the ground, drilling for oil, digging for coal, any of that, natural resources, that's a provincial jurisdiction. But Trudeau wants us off of it. He wants to shut down the oil sands. So if you're in Ontario and worried about rising energy costs, he can't do anything for you. If you're in Alberta and you're worried about the health of the oil industry and your ability to get a job, he can do something for you. He can make it more difficult, and he plans to. This is just bizarre coming from the mouth of one man in the space of a few minutes at a town hall at one event. But it does show that this is a man full of hypocrisy. One contact online, Guy Annable, the Capital Voice, has been looking for a name for this tour, and one suggestion was the Double Standard Tour. A riff off the Tim Hortons Double. Except Trudeau isn't actually going into Tim Hortons all that often. He's going into stage-managed events. But even in Peterborough, the stage-managed event couldn't contain the wrath of the people of Ontario, upset over rising energy costs and the fact that Trudeau's only going to make it worse with his imposition of a carbon tax next year. But this double standard hypocrisy, telling Ontario voters, too bad, so sad, you have to deal with high energy costs because of climate change, and then also saying he's going to ensure that we get out of the oil sands, which is provincial jurisdiction, because of climate change. This man has no shame. This is a man that will say anything, do anything to keep the progressive vote happy, and unfortunately, most of them are willing to go along with it. And they're also pretty much oblivious to what the Constitution actually says when it comes to things like provincial jurisdiction. Justin Trudeau shouldn't be meddling in the cost of energy in Ontario, but he should be showing more compassion to the fact that people are struggling rather than saying he'll go ahead with his carbon tax plan next year, whether we like it, whether we need it, or not. If you liked the video you just watched, make sure you never miss a Rebel video again. Click subscribe here or head on over to the Rebel.media and become a member.